Alright, so I recently made a video on Hollow Knight, and it seems that a few people enjoyed it, but wasn't really sure what was going on. I also said I would do some lore videos, so to start off with, I think I should give you the story of Hollow Knight and some basic history. So basically, once upon a time, there was a land called Hallownest. This land was vast and beautiful, and therefore a bunch of bugs were drawn to it. Throughout time, many different higher beings attempted to gain full control over Hallownest and become its rulers. However, despite all the higher beings' attempts, none could ever gain control of Hallownest. Higher beings are kinda like gods, but they aren't. They are vastly more powerful than the common bug and are often worshipped, but not immortal. They are also referred to as gods, though. Then, a higher being of great power named Radiance asserted a powerful dominance over the bugs of Hallownest, offering them strength in return for loyalty, until the Pale King. Basically, they are these massive beings called worms, but they either went extinct or left Hallownest a long time ago. The Pale King was a worm that then transformed into a figure of a bug that shone brightly. The Pale King is considered a pale being, which is basically a different type of higher being that's more powerful. Think of higher beings being EX Pokemon cards of any type, and then pale beings like normal type EXs. Moving on, the Pale King offered his subjects higher thought that would no longer make them bugs of instinct. So all the bugs of Hallownest wanted higher thought, and ditched Radiance's small gift for the Pale King's really big gift. Then the Pale King struck deals with the bugs that didn't join him for peace. Also, in order to try and keep the bugs of Hallownest under his domain, he stated that all the land outside of Hallownest was ruined, and those that left would be forsaken and not retain their higher thought. While there is proof of other kingdoms existing, I won't get into that right now. He then built a capital for Hallownest, which is now known as the City of Tears, although it probably wasn't called that in the past. He also built the White Palace, which he then lived in. He also put in about 200 saws of fucking death so that he wouldn't be disturbed. However, there was a price for the higher thought that the Pale King had granted. All the bugs that served under him became weak bitches. And then Radiance returned. Radiance created a plague that swept through Hallownest, wiping out all of the weak, in other words, those loyal to the Pale King. In order to stop this plague, the Pale King sought to create a hollow vessel that could trap Radiance and stop the spread of the plague. So he experimented with an old power deep beneath their kingdom, Void. The Pale King basically shaped Void into thousands of vessels, trying to make an empty one that could hold the Radiance. One with no mind or will, a hollow vessel. And all those thousands of vessels that weren't hollow were cast into the abyss where they laid forgotten. The Pale King eventually came across a vessel that he believed was truly hollow. The Pale King then trained the selected vessel into a knight in order to be able to defend itself against those that might try and kill it and release Radiance. But that was not enough. The Pale King created the Black Egg Temple, where the Hollow Knight would be imprisoned, along with the Radiance for eternity. So the Pale King sought 3 dreamers, which would be put to eternal slumber in order to create a protective seal over the Black Egg Temple, so it could not be entered. Lurian the Watcher was loyal to the king and immediately accepted the task. Then there was Monomon the Teacher, who I honestly got no idea why he became a dreamer, but it was most likely because he knew what was at stake. Then the last dreamer, Hera the Beast, Queen of Deepnest, needed to be bargained with, and the deal was sex. The reason of the deal was Hornet though, who became a guardian of Hallownest, and so Hera was put to rest. With the Hollow Knight containing the Radiance behind the seal of the Black Egg Temple, Radiance was gone for good, and the Pale King was set to rule Hallownest for eternity, until he died. So we don't know why, but the whole White Palace disappeared alongside the Pale King's death, and this makes no sense. Also, it turns out the Hollow Knight wasn't actually hollow because the Radiance's plague continued on and killed all of the Pale King's subjects. It also reanimated them into mindless walking husks. And although the rest of Hallownest was unharmed, without the Pale King's rule, everything fell apart. It seems as if although the Pale King's gift was big, he didn't know how to use it, while Radiance knew how to use his small gift very well. So in Hollow Knight, we don't play as the Hollow Knight, we play as a vessel that is returning to Hallownest after leaving it. Why and how we left, we don't know, but we did. So there are two main names people call our character, and one of them is the Knight, and the other is Ghost. But I prefer the Knight as a name, so that's what I'm gonna use. So basically we arrive in Dirtmouth, the last friendly town that's standing on the surface of Hallownest. We then do some exploring shit until we first come across Hornet. Hornet then claims that we would fail what we should seek to do and tries to kill us. After we beat her, we move on and do some more exploring until we come across Hornet again, who this time is fighting us in order to test whether or not we are worthy. After beating her again, we get marked by the King's brand, which allows us to enter the Abyss. We then get a cool new power there and move on and explore more stuff. Eventually we will come across the Seer, the last member of a tribe that used to worship the Radiance. She gives us the Dream Nail, which we can use to see inside the minds of bugs. We then head over to where the King's palace was, and we use the Dream Nail to peer inside the mind of a dead guard. We then come across the King, who is dead and holding half of a charm called the King's Soul. We do more exploring until we find the White Lady, the old Queen of Hallownest. She gives us the other half of the King's Soul. We can then enter the Abyss with the King's Soul and change it into the Void Heart. Using the Void Heart, we unite the Void under our control. We then defeat all the Dreamers, opening the doors to the Black Egg Temple. After defeating the Hollow Knight, we use the Dream Nail on it where we fight Radiance. We then bitch slap Radiance until she gives up and end the plague. Hollow Knight and us then turn into Void and drip back down into the Abyss. This is the main ending that most members of the Hollow Knight community consider the true ending. I have also missed a lot of details and events that happen in between the things that I said, so this isn't the complete lore of Hallownest, just enough for you to understand what happens in Hollow Knight. I will be making a couple more lore videos that go into specific things in the game, and I realize that you probably won't want to watch them unless you've played Hollow Knight, but I am still gonna make them. Also, somebody who actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to Hollow Knight lore, I would go check out Mossbag. He's got some good stuff there, good videos. Learned a fair amount from him. And that's it for this video. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and then I will see you in the next video.